jersey. I'm wearing my own jersey. So tonight, this live video is me, Philip Edward Alexander, accountable to nobody. Tonight, I am not speaking on behalf of anybody else or any organization but me. And Saturday night, I'm gonna check and see, if all you come close, all you come close to the 500 likes, boy, I should turn off the video now. It's late. This girl, DJ Anna, just change outfits and get 10,000 likes. What I had to do? What I do? Put on a mini skirt? Come now, man. Big things going on this thing. Alright, I'll do this for the whole. If I do this for the whole video, I'll go share. I'll do this for the whole video. Right? Because I know this is a dance. This is a TikTok dance. Because somebody does do this for a whole video and get 9,000 people watch it. But I know what it is, 9,000 people, 8,900 is man. Thirsty man. The people who just listen to me are the people who want, and even tonight's cup. Tonight's cup is brought to you by Paw Patrol, Marshall, Zuma, Sky, and Chase, and of course, Rubble on the Double, and Rocky. Rocky is the most underappreciated pup. They don't have enough emergencies for the garbage truck. The day we in this country could take serious issues seriously, like we could take I watched 3 videos, pretty and sexy for days. But after, and they have 2 young boys doing the same music. So it's not the music. They're doing better mix. They have better mic men. And they're coming out for the 200 followers on a good night. So it had to be, we just thirst. If the church allow female acolytes, sexy girls in short skirts with cleavage showing, church pack. The church pack for the message getting out there. Because we thirsty in this country. And anyway, it's a late night on a Saturday night. And some of you have places to go. No, wait, the bar's closed. No, the bar's not closed. But COVID-19 not spreading on Arapita Avenue. It's not spreading on Arapita Avenue. Because last night, I drive down Arapita Avenue. And outside place like Havana and them bars, it packed outside Brooklyn Bar. People all on the road, on the pavement, it's like normal. So it's COVID in some businesses and it's not COVID in others or something like that. And when you see, because England gone back into lockdown, France gone back into lockdown, Germany gone back into lockdown. Now we already have a band of misfits as government who paused COVID to have an election and jam we with a spike. Terrence, artificial spike. So when you see you can't go and have Christmas dinner with the whole family, blame all them jackass who can't keep the ass home. Because I know there are people who are saying that COVID-19 is part of the creation of Bill Gates' New World Order. Now I tell you something, our conspiracy theorists like the best of them. I like shit like that. I tell you, my favorite show is Ancient Aliens, and I like to look for hidden meanings of things. But I don't know, boy. This one, if they catch me, they deserve it. They deserve it. I mean, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort. Plenty of people that are dead. If they're dead, you gotta fake the deaths. You gotta have doctors in all the countries in the world, part of the conspiracy. It gotta be, if they pull it off, it done. You and the crew that's spreading this conspiracy, I wanna tell you, if they could pull all them ambulance workers, all them mortuary workers, all them police and army people, all the first responders, all the nurses, the hospital workers, if they have all of that organized to this, because there are people who hear me saying this and saying, boy, Phil, you ain't know, you know. You ain't know the kind of people you're dealing with. Bill Gates and them could pull it off. And they planting chip in your head. Now listen, I'm saying to you, people capable of immense shit. Immense. And Hitler didn't kill them 6 million Jews by himself. And Stalin didn't kill them 50 million Russians by himself. They had normal, everyday people in Germany and Russia and other countries who after World War II, after killing, murdering over 10% of the population of the planet, went about their business normal. Because Hitler didn't drive the train. Hitler didn't pack them in. Hitler didn't beat them, take out their teeth. Do you know that one of the biggest rackets in Auschwitz was taking gold teeth out people's mouth after you gas them? Going through people's shoe and pants and see what there for you could take and sell. That was a thing after you kill them. The time and motion required to be able to exterminate 6 million people through gassing, it takes a lot of work, but it takes a lot of manpower. Somebody have to make the Zyklon B gas. And somebody have to transport the Zyklon B gas. Somebody have to service the gas chamber. Make sure it working. Somebody to clean it. There are a lot of people. Now, not all of them were slaves. And not all of them were acting under orders. Bullshit. Bullshit. Because I want to tell you something about me. If I was in that and they say, this is what we're doing today, I'd raise my hand and say, boss, you lost your freaking mind. I know what I signed up for. That's the truth. Venezuela. You see how things has come full circle right back to Venezuela? There are 56 million people in Venezuela. How much soldiers Maduro have? You think Maduro in government by accident? You think they thief the election, they hijack the election? People vote for it. Because if Venezuelans prefer to sell their daughters and leave their country, a Venezuelan woman referred to Trinidad and Tobago as the devil's destination. But 150,000 of them here and more line up by the water line on the shore waiting to come. Here, hell. You see, the point will always be that it is going to take people to do wrong or right. You could either stand up together for the right thing with each other. We all have a sense of right and wrong. We don't need a script. We don't need a book. We all have an idea that Faris family shouldn't get to rent all them buildings to the government. Shouldn't. So we understand that Kamala and Keith crooked because they are she was and he is prime minister. And for Faris to be able to get away with it, they have to be okay with it. It's like what's going on with Petrotrin. What's going on with Petrotrin required otherwise intelligent and decent OWTU workers to stand and form a shield to protect Roger, Abdullah and Rowley from the criminality that's taking place down in Pointe-a-Pierre. Things doesn't just happen so, and it's never just one person because it's always the people that defend them. The Bible says the upholder is worse than the thief. The person who drive the car, the person who shield them, the person who come on social media and try to deflect from it. You know, like Kriyan Singh. Kriyan Singh goes on my Facebook that is open to the world. There is no politician alive, not Vasant Bharat, not Mariano Brown, not Amory Brown, none of the Browns. None of them, nobody, not Rowley, not Kamala, nobody is as brave as I am. Every single thing. They say 5 different looks challenge. I give you 27 pictures. I had a life before. I have a life now. I have a life after. And if you think I pretending to be like Rowley and Kamala and I come out my mother vagina in a shirt and tie, you lie. If you think that I went to school and didn't have boy days growing up, you lie. Rowley could fool all over that shit. Kamala come out she mother with nice matching earrings and purse. That's what they want you to believe. I'm going to tell you something. I am real and will be real. A man come on my thread tonight and ask me, so Philip, if you get there, how we will know you ain't going to turn when you see money? Now I asked the jackass, I said, listen, if I wanted to be like them, I would be with them. But somebody else come on the thread and slap him up and tell him, all you watch what Rowley do, know what Rowley going to do, put Rowley back and have the audacity to come and ask this man who's sacrificing life and time trying to get us to a better country to ask him this shit. And that's the truth. Because I have to be stupid to be sitting down here night after night and exposing myself to little shit snakes like Anthony Defoe and Samuel Stafford and Winston Ragu. These fellas who have nothing ahead of them in the future, you know. Them going and live this same life they're living now every tomorrow. Wake up, feel like a failure, bitch and moan, make some noise, and go in your bed and sleep. You have to deal with and put up with all that shit. Crean feel for his little 5 friends who come in to share pictures of me holding my son's dog in a private road and making I have it open to the public. You didn't have to do investigation. You didn't have to perform any kind of magic trick. Anybody could go to any of my albums and see all of my pictures and everything that I am and everything that I do. And to the knuckle dragging cat scratchers who miss the point, let me say it again. If you open your gate and you're going to take your dog for a walk and you know you ain't going to bounce up nobody, you don't need a muzzle. The time that you need a muzzle is when you deliberately set out. When you see you pull up around the savannah and you see everybody, you tell yourself, the odds here high. I'm not telling you when we're walking wrong fairways, we never bounce up nobody. I tell you, one night we was coming around a corner by Sandy Ways and we saw Chin security guard with Chin Rottweiler when we had the 3 huskies. And we turned and we went the other way. So the security guard could go the other way. So we rather pass each other because we could have done that. Because it's we and them. What's that in the road there? Up in the road, tiny so. Yeah, that's a dog, that's a rod. And we go the other way. But when you pull up by the savannah and you throw yourself out on the grass, whoosh, 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 people. And that was the point. But they have enough kulumumus. And I can't argue with all of them. I can't say, no, this is a private road. No. I can't say that over and over and over. So I just have to delete and block. Because if you're such an asshole, if you're so insipid and stupid that you have to conflate or to fool yourself into believing that a picture of Philip in a private road on his own holding 3 dogs is the same as walking a dangerous dog around the savannah, you're an asshole. And you've lost the privilege that everybody on planet Earth and those in space who have access to our internet, who could reach and use and read everything on my wall, you've lost the privilege. Phil, there's you in the picture here. Yes, Kunumumu. That's me holding 3 serious huskies. One of them, Peanut, is a mutant. He's the biggest. He is terror. I sure I could strap him to a container truck and he could pull the truck. When I tell you holding that dog, to walk that dog, is pressure. And Crean feel, like, and I feel sorry for him. Because this boy was a former senator. And he's a vet. He's a man that's supposed to be able to add his voice constructively. You see, common sense and decent people saying, you know, Philip, even if I don't like you, or even if I don't like how you say what you say, I don't agree with you. Because the point of the matter is, like the people in Pity Valley, who mother fighting for she life tonight because 2 dogs nearly killed she, all we saying is, And all we're saying is, and again, all we're saying is, because your powder puff have teeth, you don't know, it is possible, something. And the moment you admit that there is even the most infinitesimally small chance that opportunity could present, and it trip, and it go wild, and feral, and rabid, and 0.000000000000001% is still a chance. And that chance, what will you do? If you stand up there watching people when your dog killed their mother, your dog killed somebody's child, you hold him and flimsy ras pull him and only kick him, calling for backup, give me some help here, hit it with a stick, and you pull him as it biting off somebody's child face, as two pit bull just do in South Africa yesterday. What will you say after? What? All the wailing and gnashing of teeth, all the traumatized, it was a powder puff, not bringing back the dead. And if you are such an asshole that you can't understand that, make an appointment with a doctor to tie your tubes and flimsy ras, go and cut that sperm line. I will pay for it. You shouldn't breed. You shouldn't make young one. Because if you can't think sensibly that you are putting other people in danger because your powder puff know you and maybe like you, but don't know about anybody else. And I'm sorry, and I'm really apologizing to the assholes who don't know they're assholes. I'm sorry. It's nurture, it's nature. It could be genetic from your mother, your father, bloodline. Or it could be how they raise you. You're just an asshole. And what I wish for you is that you realize that you're an asshole and start to do research. Google how not to be an asshole. Because again, I don't care what you're doing with your dog. You can take him home and style his hair and dye it pink. It doesn't matter. Sleep with it in your bed. You, your man, and the dog. One big happy family. Great. Just don't put other people in danger. And that was all I was trying to say. And it is all I'm going to continue to say. And no matter which of the children of entitlement you think you are, you can kiss my ass. I will bring it for you. I will bring it for you and I will style it. So when you kiss in, you have a clean workspace. Because I am not wrong. And I know that I am not wrong because all you need to do is go on YouTube and type the words pit bull and watch what YouTube finishes for you. Do it on Google. Mauling, killing, check and see. Go and check and see that a little child in San Fernando, a German shepherd, jump out a poorly built fence and rip the child's stomach open while his intestines was on the ground. It was a powder puff. It's a nanny dog. It is babysit. The assholes who just tell you pit bull is nanny dog. They used to photograph the dogs like that to sell pictures. That dog that girl tell me, I have been researching since. The Brazilian army uses that dog, that cane corso, because it unstoppable, brother. If it on a mission, it going and finish. The Romans bred it for its strength, tenacity, and its non-stop ferocity. How could you be such an asshole? Why don't you get a bear cub, a tiger cub? Go and get a lion. Why stop at this? Why stop at this? Get something good. A crocodile. What is more of a powder puff than a baby crocodile? Let your friends come and pat it. And I'll come to the funeral. If ever that dog turn on you or somebody in your family, I'll come to the funeral and I'll stand in the doorway in the church. And when the priest pause, I will say, but it was a powder puff. Kriyan Singh, you really let me down. I held you with some esteem. You let me down. Because you cannot say. You study as a vet, so you know that you can't say that the picture of you with the Saint Bernard under the right conditions, that Saint Bernard will bite your head off. You can't say that that is not true. You cannot. Because you know what is the most horrifying statistic of all? Of all the maulings that take place in the world with dangerous dogs, an overwhelming majority of the victims who get mauled are family members of the dog owner. You ever hear the 911 call? The mother dead, the dog have the brother, throat, neck in a vice, and he calling it's my dogs, and he telling the people it's my dogs, it's my dogs. And he telling the people on 911, come, the mother done dead. In Trinidad, a grandmother went out to feed her son dog, dog killed granny. You come up to find out your dog killed powder puff, when I tell you, cotton candy. But you have to be an asshole to defend it. An asshole. There's nothing else. You could say it in French, acholet. It's the same thing. You have to be genetically deficient to think that something that is bred to kill will never, under no circumstances, kill, because you've transferred onto it the humanizing qualities that you can't find in humans to love you. And that's a lot of the problem. Because a lot of people acting out their insecurities. A lot of people acting out their shortcomings by having these dogs with big stud collars and all that. Because you know what they're saying is, look at me, I'm virile. Look at my dog. If my dog virile so, you can imagine me, I'm a pit bull in the bed. Can't help you though. Can't help you. Because when, and Paul Daniel now, who's could tell you, because he tell me, say, boy, Phil, I don't know how you take all of it. When we started, and I fought for that dangerous dog act, these pit bull people came down and protest with the dogs. And in the protest, 2 dogs get away and fight. I want to tell you something. Some of the things that I take a stand on, that I have to lose, not friends, but acquaintances, or lose support for. And you know what? I ain't running for nothing. So take your support, wrap it up small, stick it up your ass. Because I ain't running for nothing again. And not. All you want to take bull, take bull. That's another conversation. But the conversation we have tonight is this. The things that I stand up for is easy for me to hush my mouth. I could have thrown Bella in that car because that's all I was studying. All I was studying is the distance between the dog and me and my car was shorter than the distance between me and my car. And because they parked 2 cars in front of me, and we in the savannah, and the car opposite President's house, and I wanted, when I see that they're not muzzling this dog, all I want to do is get Bella away from it. Because at this moment, I want to safeguard my child. After that, I safeguard everybody else's child. While they took the dog into the savannah so it could shit and then run it around the savannah, to hell with everybody, I wanted to be the one that said what you're doing is wrong. You're putting people's lives in danger. Plenty other people went their way. Look and see and say, hey, you see that? Let me get my ass out of here. And I could do that too. I tell you all, one day, I turn off this Facebook. One day I turn it off and I done and forget about it and say, you know what? I'm writing a song right now. The chorus is Philip do vex. They say we like it so. The next chorus start, Philip do vex. They say we jamming still. The third chorus, Philip do vex. They say we vote for that. I want to tell you something. All of it is true. All of it is true. People say David Rudder is a son of a bitch. He leaves Trinidad to go Canada. Well, he must stay here for a little rob him and kill him for his little possessions. He living well in Canada on his royalties. When he go in the gas station to put gas in the car, Mr. Rudder, is that also? Would you like me to top your fuels? In Trinidad and Tobago, if he come out of the car to go and pay the thing, he could get robbed. Today, I on Maracas Beach. I ain't go to the beach for years. The last time I was on Maracas Beach was to see the shit that they were doing, renovating Maracas, with the raw sewage running through the beach and all that crap. Today I decide, because I work hard, I'll take a little run up the North Coast. I wasn't there for long. Take a little walk around, rent a 2-chair, an umbrella. Now the people that used to tell you, you can't sit there, boss. We in charge are there. You had to pay we to use the beach. Them that I fight, that I broke, that CNC3, when it announced that the chair mafia up in Maracas Beach has been broken, they didn't mention that it was Philip Alexander, but that video is also there for you to see. And when I was able to negotiate with the guy and get my chairs and my umbrella, and he was so respectful, and he said, well, this is our section, and that's their section, and if you want to rent a chair, you could just holler at me. See how we're different? And I'm not even in office. I've never had public office, but my existence has fixed things for people. And I was there, and I sit on my chair, and Bella did some holes, and she makes some sandcastles. And then it was time to leave. So walking back to the car, police who were walking up and down the beach and interacting with the public, and these fellas who were working on Maracas Beach, you could see, because I know something going down, something about to go down. I see in the body language. I'm far from them, so I know who's saying what. And I'm far from them, but I have Bella, and I need to get, and now, again, all I'm concerned about is I don't want Bella to see this. She's 2 years old, and she growing up in a shithole, but I may make a decision to take her to a civilized, sensible, decent country. So I don't want to scar her mind with what I know is about to take place. And I'm walking in that direction, and I'm seeing it escalating, and I'm seeing other people now running to it, people from the community who coming to defend what's going on. I'm seeing the police getting very serious. I see one end up on the ground, and they're trying to put his hand behind the back, others fighting now. The crowd so close up on the police that are thinking, this can't go good. So I must be 10 feet, 20 feet from them. And there is the female shower asking me, I said, just let Bella go in here for me, please. Just till this done. So Bella and my mother gone in the showers thing. I paid for it. They had to find the woman who was supposed to be in there because they're busy trying to see what was going on outside. So now, one of the fellas under arrest. And they go around the corner. But by now, the crowd of people, there's 3 police officers, 3 police officers. The crowd of people that are around them is a lot. And the noise, and they have this one guy in this white jersey, and I'm watching this guy, because everybody else saying, oh, little wicked man, the man walking. Now I'm hearing the ladies who operating like the toilets and things, workers on Maracas Beach, saying that the fellas working. Now I'm watching the power tools on the ground, and there's a job site. They're trying to put on forms for a foundation. I could see that. But something, so I know Bella and her mother safe. I go around the corner because I'm thinking, maybe. I don't want to interfere. I is nobody. I am nobody. I do not think I have authority. I do not think I have any rights to anything. I just thought maybe I could add some calm, because the way the situation escalated, police now have guns in their hands because the crowd very big, and they're trying to arrest this fella. So I go around the corner, and it's heated. The guy is holding on to Asher's Bacon Shack tent pole on the ground, and they're trying to lock him up. So I asked the officer who is holding the guy, I said, officer, is there any way that this could be resolved here? The biggest officer in charge put himself between him and me, and he asked, Philip Alexander, are you representing anybody here? I said, no. He said, not. I said, not at all. He said, then you need to step off. And I did. This guy in this white jersey pushing his hand in the officer's face. Now watching this guy, and I'm telling him, I'm saying, boy, cool yourself. Cool yourself. Because you're not making it any easier for your friend, and you could make it worse for you. And he is telling this police officer, you're only bad because you have backup, you're only bad because you have a gun in your hand. When you're coming, and he telling them, if they're coming for him, that I bring 3 Jeep, and he waiting for them. He marking his face and all that shit he said. And 2 more Jeep pull up outside, and empty police onto Maracas Beach. And they start to go for him. Mr. Man start to run. Now I say, and you know they went and they get him. So he is now, tonight, I am sure, in a cell in Maracas Station, if that is where they're holding him. But the first guy that they arrested, they said, the officer said to me, before the other officer asked me to move, which he was in his right to do, and I did. Because I don't want to obstruct nobody in the commission of their duty. And I am not saying that I know who is right and who is wrong. But it got to a situation where a lot of innocent bystanders are wrong because it's a beach. And it's in a shack and bake hut. All of this escalating. But I'm trying to get the guys to understand. I'm saying, listen to me. After the police gone now, and all of them there, and they vex still, and they fuming. I'm saying, listen to me. Even if they're wrong, and even if it's a wrong for the rest, what you all do here today didn't make it better. It didn't make it easier. And I, or anybody like me, who could have tried and visit reason, not even reason, I don't want to say that it was unreasonable, that could visit some kind of mediation in the spirit of goodwill for everybody. You all have robbed us of that opportunity because the whole thing escalated too quickly, too violently. Now the officer went to them, he said, to ask him a question about his mask. Now they're working. But you now and again, and I am not a fool. I know my perception of a police officer and a poor black man, a poor black young man, his perception of a police officer is different to mine. And I could say that when I come into a roadblock, I turn down all my 4 windows, turn on all the lights in the car, and put my hands on the steering wheel between 10 and 2. But I am not a young black male who in this country fits the description. That's the issue. That when police officers dealing with them and when they're responding to police officers, it's not the same as a conversation that I or you, if you're not a young black male, young poor black male, might be having. And I am sensible enough to understand that. But at what juncture do we introduce into the conversation a de-escalation? At what point? Now I'm talking to all the guys after. And I know that I don't know the world from their perspective. I've known poverty. I've gone hungry. I've been homeless. But I've never been that black. I've never been a young black male in a country where young black males are one of the highest crime and death statistics. And that the police officers, they see that they're going into a situation that's going to be handled, that's going to be responded a certain way. So, because we don't have a country that is being run where people trying to get hope and opportunity for these poor young black males so that they could make a life and have a life and get us to a place where we could have a minister of national security who could secure the country. Just secure the borders, and it's easy to do because I'm telling you, it's easy to do. Secure the borders are trying to be going to end the flow of guns. If we had a government that was willing to set aside $50 million and say this $50 million is to buy back, now that we've stopped all the guns from coming in the country, I want to pay police officers, not people who own illegal guns. I don't want to reward them. I want the police officers to go and get the guns and bring them and give them $1,000 bonus per gun. Because the Prime Minister said there are 50,000 illegal guns in the country. So $50 million will cover that, $1,000 a gun. But you can't have this conversation because you don't have a real Prime Minister. Your Minister of National Security is a joke. He has flip-flopped as many times on that issue because Faris Al-Rawi said when the current Minister of Tiffin House, is he still the Minister of Housing? I don't know. But that man, when he was Minister of National Security, I can't remember his name, Faris said, because we had put in the public space, that securing the borders is the most important thing. Kamala can't talk about it because Kamala didn't secure the borders. And I learned the term maritime security wall from Gary Griffith, who was Minister of National Security. And the plan was on the national security desk. And Kamala wasn't business with that. In fact, there are some appointments to state boards that I would like to ask Kamala in the parliament to justify. Why people like that? Because JMMB bust a fella throat from DSS. JMMB Bank terminate DSS bank account. The fella in charge, I don't know his name. Now, I'm not endorsing him. I don't know what he's doing. And if he really named the thing drug susu, you look for your own shit, partner. You light your own self on fire. And I don't understand. And David Mohammed seemed to think that a perpetual motion machine where people keep putting money for ridiculous amounts, knowing it's a pyramid, but there's a never-ending supply of people who are willing to take the chance in the pyramid, will keep the pyramid working. I have no problem with all of that. What I have a problem with is JMMB terminating the man's bank account. Because up to now, the man has not been charged with anything, nor is he convicted with anything. At best, he was assisting the police officers with an investigation. And if JMMB could arbitrarily terminate his bank account for no other reason than that, then I think that JMMB needs to make its customers roster available. And if it doesn't, everybody should close their bank account with JMMB today. And then ask a question of the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago to find out if Scotia Republic, RBC, and First Citizens are capable of acting like that. Because there are people in JMMB with bank accounts whose names have been called in worse things, who are probably under charge or even conviction, and JMMB didn't close their accounts. So why do it to this guy? And does that mean that banking in Trinidad and Tobago on all of these questions, all of these things beg leadership? You cannot have laws that are different for different people and not expect that young black males will not look at this country like it is against them. You understand what I just said? Kamala had appointed, and this government as well, have appointed people to state boards. Marlene McDonald was appointed 3 times as a minister before she was charged. And she was supposed to be charged since Manning days, because it's in Manning days she engaged in that crookedness. And they have plenty more. Right now, Camille Robinson Regis cannot answer where she get the $143,000 that she went to the bank to put in her bank account in cash, in a brown paper bag. And she cannot account. And the police say, and the bank said, what she said took place is untrue. So now, where are we? You have a minister of government who cannot answer in a country that is corrupt and a narco pipeline. She can't tell you how she comes to have $143,000 in cash. And she's still a government minister, but you close DSS account. Miss me with that bullshit, JMMB. And if ever I thought to think of you as a bank, I no longer do. And for whatever influence I have on anybody in Trinidad and Tobago, I want to tell you this. I'm going to give you all 48 hours. And what I just said, I am going to write as a letter to the management of JMMB publicly and to the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, because the average person is now at risk. And if your policies are uneven and double standard, we, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we have a problem. And we, if they don't have people up on top that fixing it, we will have to address it. And I will address it like this. If I had an account in GMMB, I can't wait for Monday morning. Can't wait. I will say this. We know the gentleman's side. We know that he said you all closed his account and gave him a manager's check. I think you have a responsibility to the public to disprove and debunk it if it is untrue, or to try and explain and justify it if it is. And I want to be as open-minded as I can. But when I heard that, that upset me. And again, that man and DSS, for all that they're doing, the public who pressing their money in his hand is no different to the people who was pressing their money into International Trust hand and Hussein, make no jail. Into what is the finance company? DFC. Remember that one? All trade confirmers. Them ain't make no jail. All of them that took people's money during the boom. All those investment houses that take people money and could not count for it after and just closed down, went out of business and poor people lost. None of them get prosecuted and none of them get jail. So I'm trying to understand, in a situation where all over social media, they've appointed spokespeople like Aisha Wells, David Mohammed. If all of these people are saying that the people, I think the most that we could do is let them sign a disclaimer that they understand that we don't understand what DSS is doing. Now I'll tell you something else. This is where it gets sticky in the wicket. If DSS doing anything like laundering money, again, let the law do its job. But I live in a country where there are many others who went from one store to an empire in a blink of an eye. And to now, I do not have an idea what magic they work. There are plenty of people driving around town in Jaguar, Porsche, and Mercedes-Benz that talking about the magic that DSS working, but they don't know the magic the mother and the father work to move from one corner store to where they are today. And I say to Trinidad and Tobago, continue to pretend that as long as it's not your business, it's not going to affect you, no problem at all. But you could bend a corner tomorrow, like the woman who messaged me and say, Mr. Phillip, me and my two children bend a corner and see a pit bull in the road. And my heart fall in my belly. I can't see nobody else in the street, and it's us and that pit bull. I said, what happened? She said, I just throw the children in a yard and jump over the wall. I want to tell you something. That could have been you. The dog ain't do nothing. But you imagine you. You be the one. Worse, somebody that you love. See, my father, 20 years ago, my father, he used to bowl as exercise. He used to beat the crap out of that wind ball, bowling it against a wall. Full run-up. My father could have played cricket for Trinidad, if not the West Indies. He was brilliant, brilliant batsman and a bowler. And he used to run up, and now I have to hold my father's hand and walk with him, baby steps. We all, at some point, as it gets later on in life, that's our reality. And it's for him and for all the people like him, like my mother and yours, like my sister. You don't know when that opportunity could present itself. And to the dog God rest their souls, all of those that have been put to sleep because in a situation that they could not control, that was out of their control, they acted on primal instinct and lost their lives and took lives. And it is human beings responsible for the start and the end of that whole chapter. And again, responsible dog ownership. Now, for those who want a reason to say why they wouldn't vote for me, I'm going to tell you this. If I was the Prime Minister, you could have your dog, but I want to tell you, if it kills somebody, that's a manslaughter charge. Unless it kills somebody in your yard. Because if somebody try to break in your house and get bite up in your yard, and even that, if it is a guest, you're in trouble. Because you have a responsibility to secure your dog. Somebody with nefarious and ill intent, fine. Any bite to the public is attempted manslaughter. And as long as you know that you carry the full brunt of the law and all financial restitution, and when I say financial restitution, when your dog scars somebody for life, you have to pay them a part of the value that they worth for the rest of their life. And that's how the law, there's actually a book that tells you the value of each body part of every type of person, every type of profession, at every age. There's a book that the judges use. And I think that if we had real law like that, a lot of people wouldn't need reminding that you're putting yourself at risk, at serious risk. And I can't believe that we end up back here with this, but it is the irresponsibility of government that allows this to happen. And all of it is rank irresponsibility. But somebody said to me tonight, this is what she said. A stranger who reached out to me, and this is what she said. This is her opening comment to me. I'll tell you her opening comment. We had a conversation and a closing comment. Hi, Mr. Alexander. I'm not sure if this is the right number for you or this. Simply between us, sorry, but I'm not putting out your name. I've looked at some of your live videos, posts, admittedly only over the last year, and I'm wondering why you try so hard for a country that doesn't seem to want to change, that's entrenched in a two-party system where corruption seems rampant, but everyone in power all seem to have cocoa in the sun, so they can't pursue anything. My first response is, because I have people that I love who live here. And that's the reason, that's my motivation. I see my father in every old man. I see my mother in every woman. I see my children in every young person, and all I think about is how do we get a better country for all of them. And I told her, I said, I ask myself the same question every day. And then we had a conversation on WhatsApp, because this is a young person, recently a professional, and she wanted guidance and advice, and she seems interested in politics. And she ended, I don't know how often you hear it, but thank you for trying to give a voice to the voiceless, regardless of the price. Everyone has a passion, and I respect yours. I want to tell you something. I want to tell everybody watching this now, in case you don't know. If my mother and my father and my now motherless niece and two nephews, my children, agree to get on a plane and go Barbados, I paying for everybody. You want to go Barbados? Start over life there. Let's just get out of this shithole. Because I don't like Trinidad and Tobago anymore, you know. I love my country. I love everything about my country, except the fact that Satan has won. Daniel Jackson edited one of my videos. He cut it. And he sent this from me today. Because I never know half the things I say until I listen it after. You know. So I want to know how the head of Transparency International in Trinidad and Tobago, who was responsible for monitoring and charting our corruption, leave the role of Transparency International and become an ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago appointed by measure of corruption, because salt is supposed to be incorruptible. But this country, we more corrupt. Listen, Satan and God make a bet on Trinidad and Tobago. God say, look Eden. Look Eden. I build Eden in the Caribbean Sea. Satan say, watch me make a mess of that. PNM and UNC. Just sprinkle that. Because for every person that is in the PNM or the UNC that getting their share, you are sinking this boat for everybody else. For everybody who could justify not voting or voting for that, you don't care about nobody. And the problem is, and to the young lady, if you're listening, the problem is we have too many people in this country, like the Germans, who didn't care that the Jews were dying, because it had to be a lot of them. And I'm not blaming the people of Germany. There's a lot of years have passed. But in every situation, it's not just there. In China, the one China policy killed millions of people. And other people have to pull those triggers. There are too many people, and I think that that is ultimately why humanity is lost. There are too many people willing to pull the trigger. Mother Teresa said, when they asked her why she did that with her life, she said, very early on, I entered into a game of hide and seek with my Lord and Savior. And every single person that comes to me, my job is to look, to see him in them. You see, the same way Fitzgerald Hines looks for the piper in every black youth he deals with, Mother Teresa was looking for Christ and his perspective. And again, you could be an asshole. It's your life. Be the biggest asshole you could be. Proud. Or you could be a good and decent person. And with your life, show compassion for strangers. Sacrifice to make this world a better place. When I was looking through my albums, one of the pictures that I shared, I put first responder film, me, and, well, the army and the fire, and Wazim. I don't know if Wazim will remember this. He was a counselor for the area at the time when there was a flood in Diego Martin, and a house on the hill came down, and a man got trapped under the bridge. And by the time we finally got him out, he was dead. But he was drowning, and we were trying to get him out from under that bridge. And that was about, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, whenever that flood was. Every day, I think, every day, why? After the video, right after the live video, I asked myself, why? Why? 5,200, 6,200 last night video, 5,200 views. And then by today, by about lunchtime, 10,800. 10,800 views are not enough. Last night, DJ Anna, for an hour, and get about 50,000 views. She put on a fluorescent green miniskirt. Watch me. 62,000 views. Why? I still do this. Why? Every day. Every time I ask myself. And the only answer that I could get is that I hope God's seeing. Not for me. I hope God's seeing. And whatever reward that he want to give me, that he give my family, my loved ones. Because I can't save all. And I'm trying, but I can't. I can't. I said after politics, I said, that's it. I said, if we don't win, I'm done. I'm done. I have no problem done in. There are some stupid, poor PNM jackasses and even some UNC assholes who think they tell me, maybe I get more, they have more likes on your wall than seat and more likes than vote and all kind of shit. Only feel like I lose, but you win? You won? Look around you. I want to dare any of them. Go and take a walk in Goodwood Park. Go Fairways. Go Bayshore. Drive into Bayshore. And if you can't go into any of those locations, you're the one that win. And whether PNM or UNC, that's who win. Begin me talk, and is that a problem? I could have walked. Listen, I knew the size of the task that I was taking on when I got into it. But I wanted to be able to tell myself that I try. I put, Michael Jordan say, don't come off the court thinking that you could have put out more. He said, leave everything on the court. And I want to believe that I did that. And August 10th, that was it. August 10th, that was it. But I'm still here, and there's a COVID-19 that made things worse because my involvement in politics was supposed to stop 2018, 10 years after this. It was a promise for 10 years after this accident. It was a promise I would do it until October the 10th, 2018. My son reminded me on the date of the anniversary, 10 years to the day of the accident. I said, we done, we out. My son just asks me all the time, when we coming out, Daddy? Come out. The Citizens Union is an opportunity to help people help themselves. Because the parliament is not doing it. And no matter, you could be the blackest fool in town, or the Indianest fool in town, or the Chinese fool in town, or the Syrianist fool in town. At the end of the day, we all fools in town if the government not working. If we not getting service from public servants, what is the point of all of it? Do you have to die like an asshole, like generations before, pretending that as long as your skin color riding that desk, it's okay for you to suffer? Is it possible that that concept might be flawed? Is it possible that it doesn't matter the racial demographic holding office, as long as your life could be better? Isn't that ultimately what we all want? Safety, security, hope, opportunity, and a chance to be happy for our loved ones, to live in freedom, in peace, to enjoy their happiness, to express themselves to their fullest potential, education that works, and in case of an emergency, ambulance, law enforcement, hospital that could step in and make wrong things right? Isn't that what it's all about? Isn't working and getting a decent wage in exchange for your labor, and that money being able to afford good things at affordable prices? Isn't that what it's all about? What am I missing? Why is it okay that they could steal? Last time I did a video called We All Know. Everybody know. I walk every river. I went in the dams. I went in the water treatment plant. I showed them the maths. I showed them the arithmetic. Everybody in the country know that the reason we don't have water is so that they could thief money. And you settling for that, working harder to pay more taxes so they could thief it, and you still have no water in your pipe. Satan win, boy. God built Eden, but Satan corrupted to the core. And if you could look at yourself tonight, 24 hours between that video and this one, and if you could look at yourself in the mirror tonight and say to ask with Philip Alexander how it hang it swing, one day, this social media, Facebook, this profile will stop. One day I'll stop asking myself why. Either Trinidadians wake up en masse and we stand up together and we get a better country, or I hush. Take my loss, my licks, kick up in my head, you lost, they beat you. No problem. No problem at all. I didn't need a job. Never was about me. It was always about public service. Even now, today, in the past 2 weeks, I have accomplished more for more people, strangers, at no cost. I have accomplished people. I've saved houses. I've saved lives. I have accomplished more for people in the past couple of weeks than all 41 in that parliament combined. And I know I can sleep well tonight. When I leave in the beach with shark and bake today to go home and eat my shark and bake, I also have in the bag shark and bake for my mother, my father, my sister, and my son. Because I can't be home eating shark and bake and waiting to burp nice and the rest of them I get. And I know that I have taken care of those that are my responsibility, and I know that I have been a good citizen and have given more back to my country than I have taken from it. And those two things are important to a man whose father raised him to believe that to whom much is given, much is expected. Daddy, I've used it up. I've come beyond the line. There is a Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. You'd be an asshole not to join it.